operation. Same-day round-trip or one-way tickets are also available. Once your ticket is purchased, simply tap your ticket or SunCard on Sunrail's Tap On, Tap Off ticket validator, and you're ready to ride.
I've already got my card.
So come aboard and discover for yourself why Sunrail riders truly experience a better way to go. For more information, including news on Sunrail, visit sunrail.com or call 855-RIDE 411.
I like the fact that we did a bunch of these in one day too, you know? Kind of changes the face of the city real quick.
Good afternoon and welcome to the November 17th regularly scheduled meeting of the Orlando City Council. We're going to begin today's proceedings with the invocation offered today by Rabbi Stephen Engel, who currently serves as the senior rabbi of the Congregation of Reform Judaism in Orlando and has done so for the past 18 years. Rabbi Engel is the former president of the Greater Orlando Board of Rabbis, has been an adjunct professor of religion and guest lecturer at Rollins and UCF. Currently is a member of the board of New Hope for Kids Grieving Center for Children and is involved in the Impact Homelessness and the Interfaith Council of Central Florida. Rabbi Engel is famous around these parts for his radio talk show called Friends Talking Faith with the Three Wise Guys. Obviously, he is one of those three wise guys. They deliver a message of interfaith friendship, support, and respect. It airs every Tuesday night on NPR. Rabbi, the last 2 or 3 meetings, we've had a full house. So I'm disappointed we don't have a full house for you today, but I'm happy that we have nothing controversial on our agenda. So that's the flip-flop on that. But
I won't take it. Maybe they knew I was going to show up, so they said I'm not coming.
No.
Only 1/3 of the wisdom.
If we had
of the
advertised that more appropriately, the house would be full. But we've had, well, Marcia's the only one in red today, but generally we have had a house full of red the last couple of meetings. So if everybody would please rise, and Commissioner Sheehan will lead us in the pledge after the invocation.
Thank you for the invitation to be here. I want to share with you today as a rabbi what I have as a Jewish parable. And the parable teaches the following. If a mighty man were to enter a city and say, I will rule over you, its people should reply, what have you ever done to merit our allegiance? But if a person comes to the city and begins to build the city walls, constructing aqueducts and designing other building projects, and then declares, I want to be your leader, the people are to accept his leadership eagerly. From this we learn that leadership comes from what we do and not by what we say. From this we learn that leadership is about common good and not personal agendas. From this we learn that the leader who brings improvement to all parts of the community is the one to be held in high regard as a leader in that community. Let the leadership exhibited at this meeting today be according to the parable that I mentioned. As we stand, I ask you to feel free to open your spirit according to your own faith tradition and to pray in whatever way that you are accustomed to doing. O heavenly presence, let the city beautiful not only be about the way our city looks, but let the city beautiful be more than about how its citizens and leaders act. Through our mouths and through our hearts, through our voices, through our minds and ears, may you open them all in this meeting today, and may they be beautiful according to the parable. From our mouths, may our deeds speak more loudly than our words. May our minds challenge each other through words of mutual support and encouragement. May you inspire our ears to listen to the varied voices of our diverse city, to the needs and wants of all of the citizens. May our hearts be open to people, not only numbers, to pain and not only to problems, to compassion and not only to conflict. And most importantly, may you help our voices to speak purpose and truth in building a community of vision, vitality, and of, as a rabbi had, shalom, a place of peace and wholeness. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance
one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Rabbi. All right, let's call the meeting to order. Madam Clerk, would you call the roll and make a determination of a quorum, please?
Commissioner Gray?
Here.
Commissioner Ortiz?
Here.
Commissioner Stewart?
Here.
Commissioner Sheehan?
here.
Commissioner Hill?
Here.
Commissioner Ings?
Here.
Mayor Dyer?
Here.
Mayor, you have a quorum.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. First order of business is consideration of the meeting minutes from the workshop of gender review and city council meetings of November 3rd. Motion by Commissioner Stewart, second by Commissioner Ortiz. All in favor of the motion indicate so by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed? Okay, the motion passes. Awards presentations. We have two today, and Marcia has both of them. Come on up, Marcia.
Thank you,
Unless
Mayor.
you're against the Princeton.
No, I'm not. I promise.
Okay.
Just coincidental, I just like red.
All right.
Okay, thank you, Mayor. Mayor and Commissioners, it's always a pleasure to come before you to introduce some of our proclamations. And today, we have the honor of having the city's Chapter 57 Review Board members, some of them, who were able to be here today, which is our review board, which advocates for the citizens of Orlando in the areas of human and civil rights, with a primary focus on equal rights and equal opportunities in employment, housing, and public accommodations, as you're aware. Patricia Newton, on my team, serves as our city's human relations official. Today's presentation is recognizing International Day for the Elimination of Violence Against Women. And this is the first time that the Chapter 57 Board has made this presentation, but they feel that it is even much more important today than ever before. And before our Chapter 57 Board Chairman, Bassam Shabin, please forgive me, Bassam, I probably pronounced that wrong, comes up to introduce the proclamation, I would just like to also acknowledge our partnership with Harbor House of Central Florida, which, as you all know, because all of you have worked with them, works with our elected officials, our residents, our law enforcement, and our staff to address this persistent problem. And at this time, I would like to introduce Bassam, who will introduce members of the Chapter 57 Board and introduce the proclamation. Bassam?
Good afternoon, Mayor, Commissioners. It's my honor to be here and represent the Chapter 57 Board. Thank you for having us today. My name is Bassam Shaban. Don't worry, Marcia, I've been called worse, so I'm fine. I'm Director of Operations for the Islamic Society of Central Florida and the Chair of the Chapter 57 Board. The Chapter 57 Board advocates for the citizens of Orlando in the areas of human and civil rights. with a primary focus on equal rights and equal opportunity in employment, housing, and public accommodations. We are a 7-member board appointed by the mayor and this council to work with the city's Office of Community Affairs and Human Relations and your MWBE program. In attendance today, we have several dedicated board members who are committed to equal rights, equal opportunity for all the citizens of Orlando. First, we have Ms. Ginger Malcolm, who's the Florida Supreme Court mediator and a board member for the Gay, Lesbian, Straight Education Network. Next is attorney Nathaniel Friends. And then, last but not least, Alfreda Forshi, who is also an office manager. Our board members who are absent from today's meeting, unfortunately, is Mr. Louis Preston Jr., who's with the Florida Hospital's Chief of Diversity, Miss Dr. Wanda Bonet Gascott, who is a Life Skills Institute coach, and attorney Ron Nesbitt. The board recommended to the mayor and city council to amend Chapter 57 of the Code of the City of Orlando to add gender identity expression as a protected class under Chapter 57. The city's anti-discrimination ordinance and amendment passed city council on Monday, August 11th of this year. Today, we join the world, national and local leaders, recognizing that freedom from violence is a human right. It is a fundamental right. Violence against women negatively impacts many areas of life, including education, health, and work, and implicates women's abilities to exercise other fundamental rights and freedoms. Our Civil Rights Board is interested in raising awareness and helping to enhance domestic violence education in our community and support Harbor House in its extensive education efforts. Harbor House facilitates education sessions for community groups and businesses throughout Central Florida and has created special programs geared toward preventing the escalation of domestic violence against women. This board will continue to advocate for all Orlando citizens, especially our marginalized communities in the areas of human and civil rights. And as we close, we want to mention that domestic violence against women has no tolerance in aspects of religion, nationality, or governance. And we thank you for this proclamation. Thank you.
Thank you. City of Orlando proclamation. Whereas the City of Orlando Chapter 57 Review Board, which advocates for the citizens of Orlando in the areas of human and civil rights with a primary focus on equal rights and equal opportunities in employment, housing, and public accommodations, and whereas survivors of domestic violence must deal with the effects of physical injuries, long-term psychological damage, financial instability, and finding safe housing. And whereas the Chapter 57 Board seeks to enhance the public welfare by declaring that protection against domestic violence is a fundamental human right. And whereas more than 1 in 3 women and more than 1 in 4 men in the United States will experience rape, physical violence, or stalking by an intimate partner at some time during their lives. And whereas the United Nations Declaration on the Elimination of Violence Against Women recognizes the urgent need for the universal application of women's rights and principles. And whereas world, national, and local leaders recognize that domestic violence is a human rights concern, and whereas by recognizing that domestic violence is a human rights violation, the Chapter 57 Review Board will raise awareness and enhance domestic violence education to communities, the public and private sectors, and within government agencies. Now, therefore, I, Buddy Dyer, Mayor of the City of Orlando, hereby do proclaim Tuesday, November 15, 2014, as International Day for the Elimination of Violence Against Women Day in the City of Orlando.
Thank you.
Great job, Bassett. Mayor Dyer will present the proclamation to you.
Yes. Okay, Marcia, go right ahead.
Thank you, Mayor. Okay, Mayor, thank you. At this time, I have the great pleasure of introducing someone who really needs no introduction because most of us have worked with him in the community. He is Brent Trotter, who is the president and CEO of the Coalition for the Homeless of Central Florida. And Brent, if you would come forward, and I know you have some of your team members here that you'll probably introduce later, but Brent will give brief comments on the Hunger and Homelessness Awareness Month in the city, or day, I should say, in the city of Orlando. Brent?
Thank you, Marcia. Mayor, Commissioners, thank you all very much for this proclamation and for recognizing the issue in our community that's so critical, not only in our community, but also in our nation as well. Mayor, thank you for your leadership on such a controversial in many ways and otherwise convoluted issue. But while the coalition is being recognized today, we also want to make sure that we call attention to our partners in this cause, and particularly Commissioner Stewart and his role at Christian Service Center. Commissioner Stewart is a great partner in that as a community leader as well. Others that are serving in such a capacity, we all know that homelessness is not something that's going to go away, that it is something that is unfortunately here, and the coalition stands ready to stand in that gap and appreciates very much the partnership that we've been able to form and forge with the City of Orlando. So, Mayor, thank you very much.
Okay, I have a second proclamation, City of Orlando. Whereas each year the month of November is designated as National Hunger and Homeless Awareness Month, and this year the week of November the 15th through the 23rd is designated as National Hunger and Homeless Awareness Week. And whereas the Coalition for the Homeless of Central Florida and the City of Orlando are joining with communities across the United States during that week to bring greater understanding and awareness of the realities of hunger and homelessness. And whereas the fastest growing segment of the homeless population is families with children, and whereas on an average night, the Coalition for the Homeless of Central Florida provides food, shelter, and services to more than 600 men, women, and children, more than 150 of whom are children with an average age of 8 years old in over 70 families. And whereas the City of Orlando and Orange County government funded the capital construction of the Coalition's new Men's Service Center, which began operation in June of 2014. And whereas on November 21st, we will turn the Lake Eola Fountain, Amway Center Tower, and City Hall Tower of Light purple and encourage the community to also wear purple to promote hunger and homelessness awareness in order to illustrate that our community can help make a difference in the lives of our neighbors in need. Now, therefore, I, Buddy Dyer, Mayor of the City of Orlando, hereby do proclaim Friday, November 21st, 2014 as Hunger and Homeless Awareness Day in the City of Orlando.
Well done. Well done. Balance out. Leverage. A good looking girl. Well done.
All right, we're going to move into the mayor's update. And I want to begin my comments, Commissioner Ings, by offering you my deepest sympathy and the council's sympathy on the passing of your aunt, Eloise Stevens. Our thoughts and prayers are with you and your family and friends during this difficult time.
Thank you, Mayor.
I'd also like to wish our oldest commissioner, District 3 Commissioner, a happy birthday.
I'm the second oldest commissioner.
I don't know that to be true. I just made that up.
He's still older than me.
Okay. Well, he's celebrating his birthday on Thanksgiving this year, Thursday, this week from Thursday on the 27th, but we don't have a council meeting, another council meeting between now and then. So, Commissioner, we hope you have a great day, and everybody please join me in singing happy birthday to Commissioner Stewart. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Stewart.
How old are you?
Happy birthday to you. All right. I want to get first shot on wishing everybody a happy Thanksgiving and holiday season. It's a time to gather family and friends and give thanks for the blessings and freedoms that we have. I think we've had a lot of blessings this year here in the city of Orlando and Central Florida. So I'm especially thankful for our city family, our dedicated city commissioners, our city employees, and all the hard work that they do to make this a great place to live, work, and raise a family. All right. I have at least one item that you guys I don't think know about, and I am pleased to announce that March Madness will be returning to the Amway Center in 2017. We just learned today at noon there was a press announcement, and we were selected to once again host the second and third round of the NCAA tournament in 2017, which is going to be a pretty busy spring because we host the ACC men's tournament, followed by the NCAA tournament, and then we have the women's NCAA soccer Final Four at the new soccer stadium. So pretty busy spring and more to come on that. And oh, by the way, I'm going to have to call Mayor Buckhorn and maybe Mayor Brown. We are the only Florida city that received received tournament games for 16, 17, or 18, and no city got 2 bites at the apple. So very pleased that we went after that again and were able to host them again in 2017. Okay, some things that you do know about. Christmas tree lighting will be on Friday, December 5th. At the Walt Disney Amphitheater between 5 o'clock and 10 o'clock. We have our 72-foot Christmas tree decorated with, get this, 88,000 LED lights. We'll have performances from the Florida Pops and Mass Choir, the Trinity Lutheran School Musical Ensemble. We will have the dailycity.com food truck bazaar, gift vendors, and an outdoor viewing of How the Grinch Stole Christmas. So go to cityoforlando.net or orlandotreelighting.com for more information. I would encourage everyone to visit our main streets during the holiday shopping season. These districts are great. I did that last year on Small Business Saturday, which, if you didn't know, falls between Black Friday and Cyber Monday, and I guess we'll have to come up with a naming opportunity for Sunday during that time frame as well. All right, here is a biggie, at least in my mind, and I think the council's mind. I'm honored to announce that the City of Orlando obtained a perfect score of 100 on the 2014 Municipal Equality Index, which is a nationwide evaluation of 353 cities conducted by the Equality Federation Institute and the Human Rights Campaign Foundation on how inclusive the city's laws and policies are for the LGBT community. I'd like to thank Commissioner Sheehan for leading this effort. Orlando is one of the few major cities in the entire United States to receive a top score on this report, and I think it demonstrates both the progress and the commitment that our community has in the area of equality and inclusiveness. Another monumental week in downtown Orlando. We are moving from the arts and culture, the opening of the Performing Arts Center, to a whole week of activities related to the reopening of the new Orlando Citrus Bowl. I want to invite everybody for the official ribbon cutting, which is 10 o'clock on Wednesday, November 19th. And then this weekend we will host our first event, which is the annual Florida Blue Florida Classic on Saturday, November 22nd. So it is exactly 10 months since we started the demolition of the old Citrus Bowl that we are going to actually flip a coin and kick off for a football game. So that, I think, speaks well to the team that worked on the Citrus Bowl, everybody from the architect to the contractors to the workers who worked overtime and double shift to make sure that we were game ready for this week. Also coming up is the State of the Downtown on December the 3rd at 3:30. Usually we do that in the morning or lunch, but this year it's at 3:30. And the event will be at the historic Church Street Exchange building, which is now filled up with technology startup companies, and I couldn't think of a more appropriate place to showcase what's going on in our downtown. I will join Commissioner Ortiz on Saturday, November 22nd, before the Florida Blue Florida Classic for a ribbon cutting to reopen the Park of Americas, which is a 28-acre park that was closed due to damage by the hurricanes in 2004. And it will be our first off-the-leash dog park. Thank you, Commissioner Ortiz, for your vision and leadership in that area, and I'm sure you have a little more to say on that during your remarks. And then I do have one item on the agenda that I want to highlight, and that's Bike Share is finally coming to Orlando. On today's agenda is an encroachment agreement with our bike share vendor, Cycle Hop, to allow bike share stations on city right-of-way, and we will open the first 4 bike share stations before the end of the year, with the remaining 16 coming online by March the 31st. The first 4 stations are going to be near the OUC building, Gertrude's Walk, Sky House, and Lake Eola. And part of the holdup has been the evolving technology, and these bikes are actually going to be equipped with GPS so that you don't have to drop them back off at one of the stations. You can simply drop them off at your destination, and through the GPS we can retrieve them and bring them back to a station, which gives us the latest technology and I think makes the flexible use of the bikes even better for those who will be using them. With that, we're going to move on to the consent agenda, and the consent agenda is a number of items that are acted upon through a single vote of council. We give each of our commissioners an opportunity to comment on items on the consent agenda and update you of things that are important or significant from their individual commission districts. And we rotate the order in which they do that, and today we're going to begin with Commissioner Sheehan.
Thank you, Mayor Dyer. And Ed, are you ready for my slides? You got them? Okay. Just want to wish everyone happy Thanksgiving as well. And gratitude is the key to happiness. So the happier you are, the more grateful you are. So it's a great time to celebrate what we are grateful for. And I'm grateful for what happened last Saturday. We had our Swan Roundup on Saturday. And I want to thank Chris Wallace, our park manager, Dr. Gardner, our veterinarian, and Patty Peekins, our head swan docent volunteer, for all their help putting together this event. The Kayak Club of Central Florida, we had 55 swans vaccinated, microchipped in veterinary care, and we're making sure that they're thriving. That's the Kayak Club, rounding up our swans. And many volunteers helped out, and this is not something you can just go out and do. We have to teach people how to properly handle them. And I dropped one, but he was okay, and his name was Buddy. That's Buddy right there. And
that
actually,
may be the most handsome swan
that is
out
the most
there.
handsome swan out there. And actually what happens is we microchip the new babies, and we had several. So I did name one Buddy after our illustrious mayor. I named one after Regina, after our new commissioner. I named one Jeannie after my mom. And I named one Sir Lancelot after all you other dashing men on my council, because I didn't have enough swans to name one after every one of you. So Sir Lancelot is for all the rest of you guys. Okay. So again, it was a lot of fun. And that's actually Chris Jean, my favorite. She's our black neck swan, and she's a lovely addition. And we're looking for a sponsor if anybody wants to help us out. That's Dr. Gardner, Chris Wallace, our park manager, and me after I jumped in the lake after Buddy. And we would like to get a sponsor for this program because actually sometimes the swans are, we lose a couple every year, and we want to make sure we have all the swans. We have swans from all over the world, and we want to make sure we have all the different varieties, and we're down to one black-necked swan, and we want to make sure that we can get them mated and having babies and things like that. So I'm looking for a sponsor if anybody's interested to help us with the feeding and sponsoring purchasing additional swans. So if you want to call my office, we'll be glad to let you know what those sponsorship opportunities are at beautiful Lake Eola Park. Really enjoyed the DPAC grand opening ceremony, and many in my district championed and donated. I really want to thank the tourism industry for leadership in investing the tourist development tax, in addition to all the donors, but it would never have been possible without that tourist development tax. And Mayor, the HRC Municipal Equality Index, I get tired whenever we go to like a national convention or something like that, we get beat up for our low index. And I always thought it was because they weren't giving us credit for a lot of the things that we were doing, and we just needed to tweak it a little bit. And I want to thank Frank Billingsley, Luis Martinez, and Lieutenant Jim Young for working so hard on that, because that was what made that possible. And again, if you're known as a progressive, fair-minded city, that's a good thing when you're trying to bring new business in. It's just a great thing. I love the bike share agreement and glad to hear about the new technology. On item C5, love the Cameo Theater facade. I see George Boone is here. That's a great part of Mills 50, and we're delighted to see that you're getting Commissioner Stewart's money. And
Nice try.
Yes, on item F2, glad to see the Community Development Block Grant continue to serve housing of persons with AIDS through Aspire. And on item F3, also CDBG for the Primrose Center that does really good work for helping the severely disabled. And on item H1, the School Resource Officer Program, glad to see that we're finally making sure that that we get full staffing for K through 8 schools, because it's very, very important. As we're shifting to more of these K through 8 schools, we need full-time officers at them, just for the safety of the kids. And that's all I had, Mayor. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. We'll move to District 5. Commissioner Hill.
Thank you, sir. I would like to say thank you to everyone that had prayers for my uncle and send out well wishes to me. As I was able to live screen and watch the commission, but due to the fact I was on a surgical unit, I wasn't able to call in. So I apologize for my absence. But that is, my uncle was the one that stuck by my mother through thick and thin, and he's almost like a father figure for me. But now he's doing well, he's recovering. But I would like to say thank you again for all the well wishes and thoughts. It meant a lot. Well, another busy day, weekend or so in District 5, as Commissioner Sheehan stated. I had to keep pinching myself over at DPAC this weekend. It was just amazing, and it was beautiful, almost like a fairy tale. I did think about my humble beginnings, and I kept looking at the clock for midnight, and I didn't lose a slipper, and my dress didn't tatter. I was still there, so the Cinderella story, it lives. But I'd like to thank the men of Kappa Alpha Psi for coming out to my office and partnering with me to help the seniors and youth in District 5. They've came aboard, and they're going to help tutor and mentor the disadvantaged youth in my district. And not only that, they came with scholarships for those that are looking to become horticulturists or get into the agriculture field from Kentucky University. And that's major, and I'd like to thank them for assisting me in the flight of educating our youth in different industries. Of course, the Veterans Day Parade, which I'm a veteran, was rewarding and magnificent as we rode downtown, and I saw all the people supporting our troops and those that have served. A special thanks to Orlando City Soccer. Miss Kay Rollins had a fundraiser over at the Rosen Plaza Hotel, and it was a major success with women in leadership and different nonprofit and for-profit organizations to which they were raising money for the youth there in Paramore, in which they do a phenomenal job. Next week, they will be assisting my office with giving over 200 turkeys to the residents of Paramore, and many of the residents possibly wouldn't have a Thanksgiving meal. So I'd like to thank Orlando Soccer for that kind gesture. And I guess that's about it. There's more to go on. But like I said again, thank you all for your kind thoughts and prayers.
Thank you, Commissioner. We'll move to District 6. Commissioner Ings.
Thank you, Mayor. And I'd like to say thank you, Mayor Dyer, and all of my fellow commissioners for your thoughts, your prayers, and support of me and my family during the time of the loss of my aunt. As a matter of fact, her husband was at the Veterans Day Parade, and he is a veteran. And I tried to get him to ride in the car with me, but he didn't want to do it because he wanted to see the whole parade. He wanted to see everything. So, and he was very pleased with the Veterans Day Parade. And your resolution was well received by my family too. And so again, thank you so very much. The items on the agenda are C7, the Federal Promise Zone Initiative. I think this is a great idea for the City of Orlando, and especially how we are expanding our areas of dealing with blight and poverty within the City of Orlando. So this is going to be a great opportunity. I just certainly hope and pray that we can be granted this award, and if not, then we still have to look at ways on how we're going to really build and develop our blight and poverty areas within the city. And then item H1, the School Resource Officer Program. This is always a great program, and great to have the officers in the high school. We have 2 officers assigned to each high school and 1 to each middle school, but a quarter of an officer is assigned to each elementary school. And I think we definitely should look for ways to increase that to 1 officer per elementary school because it is about school safety. You know, I was just over at Memorial Middle School and was speaking to the principal there, and she was speaking about the principal of Catalina who had a problem and wanted to know if her school resource officer could come over and assist because she didn't have the regular assigned police officer. So that's the kind of thing that I've been talking about since being elected, since 2006, that we really improve upon this area. And I don't want it to be too late for us to do anything, but I think we should definitely be a little bit more proactive. We should talk more with the school board to get them to invest a little bit more. We must always be prepared to protect our elementary school children, the principals, the administrators, the teachers, and the parents that go there. So we need to do our very best on that. And then on November 5th, Wednesday, myself and State Representative Bruce Anton of District 46 hosted our annual job fair. And we had a job readiness event prior to the job fair, which was that Wednesday at the Dr. James R. Smith Center. There were about 25 attendees to this first job readiness event. And these are the presenters that were there. And topics included selecting a job, presentation of skills, resume writing, interviewing, what to wear, interview follow-up. And then one thing I encourage those attendees is to smile when they go before the potential employer, to smile and make yourself presentable and let these individuals see you, these corporations see you as being a part of their organization. But the presentations were conducted by the corporate executives, Ms. Rosalind Dunlap and Theron Short. Theron Short is a job coach with Goodwill Industries. The attendees that were there utilized the Smith Center's computer lab to research companies and create resumes for Friday's job fair. And appropriate interviewing clothing were available, sponsored by Goodwill, for those people to choose, and they could also get vouchers if they didn't have their sizes there so that they can attend the job fair looking great. The job fair event was Friday, November 7th at the Smith Center. We had about 50 employers that were on location: OUC, Coca-Cola, Star 94.5 Radio, Home Depot, Golden Corral, Florida Hospital, Valencia College, Lynx, SeaWorld, and various other resorts and trades were also represented. And all companies had current vacancies and were looking to employ full-time, part-time, and apprentice positions. The one thing that we did find out about this was we just can't do it once a year because the need is so great. There were over 750 candidates of all ages, experience levels, and industries that were at the job fair seeking employment. Of the 50 employers, several were felon-friendly employers and prepared to hire ex-felons. A component of the job fair was a seal and expunge workshop conducted by senior attorneys and law students affiliated with Legal Aid Society. They were present to assist ex-felons with understanding their rights and prepare for gaining future employment. There were 97 ex-felons that participated in the seal and expunge workshop, and roughly 25 candidates received interviews. 10 candidates received offers of employment. One young man, Elijah Jackson, was offered and accepted a job with Golden Corral right there on the spot at the job fair. So it was a very successful job fair, and I want to thank Representative Bruce Anton for his support, and also his staff, Pam Newton, and my staff, Jackie Cockerham and Vanessa Holliday, and Officer Joseph Lundy. And then on Tuesday, November the 11th, former Orange County Commissioner Tiffany Moore Russell, who is now the new Orange County Clerk of Courts, was sworn in at the historical courthouse there at the Orange County Regional History Center at 65 East Central Boulevard. Florida Supreme Court Justice Peggy Quince swore her in, and the courtroom was packed. Standing room only was there. And then also on Wednesday, November 12th, the Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated hosted their 23rd annual Senior Appreciation Luncheon at the Dr. James R. Smith Center. Mayor Dyer, I'd like to say thank you again to you for coming over and saying hello to the seniors, and also wishing the AKAs much success. Your greetings were very well received. And of course, on Saturday, November 15th, the AKAs had their regional conference, Cluster 2 conference, here in Orlando, and it was at the Rosen Plaza. So I brought greetings that morning. So the AKAs have been very busy in Orlando. And Commissioner Tiffany Moore Russell had her last 8 years at a Glance event Thursday, the 13th of November, at the Southside Restaurant there at the Orange County Convention Center, South Concourse. So many of us were there to wish her well and much speed. And then Friday, November the 14th, the International Drive Chamber had its annual luncheon meeting. They celebrated 25 years. Maria Triscari, the chamber director, was on hand, and they finished off the celebration with this happy song, and Harris Rosen was doing some little happy dance. I mean, it was just really neat. I'm sorry they didn't contact you, Mayor, that you could do a
Well, could you demonstrate that for us?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. And the last thing I have before I demonstrate is that I'm having my Thanksgiving concert this Friday after Thanksgiving for the seniors, and Beverly Crawford will be our guest artist there, and we're going to have several other local artists too. And then, of course, at the Dr. Phillips Center, that was a grand premiere in every respect, and I know that we are all feeling so very proud of how this center has come to fruition, and I can't wait to see the third piece get developed myself, and that would make it complete. But we have a lot to really be thankful for. Really appreciate your leadership on that, Mayor Dyer and Mayor Crotty and Mayor Jacobs, and also for Mayor Glenda Hood and Mayor Bill Frederick for their trying to push something to make it happen. And you came along and you made it happen, so thank you very much.
Thank you, Commissioner. Commissioner Gray.
Thank you, sir. I think all of the accolades and thanks have been mentioned. So with that, I'll yield my time to the Honorable Tony Ortiz.
Commissioner Tony Ortiz.
I'll be very quick too. Mayor, you already mentioned Park of the Americas opening up on November 22nd, Saturday. And as you mentioned too, the main attraction is going to be the Canine Park. It's going to have a playground, pavilions. One of the pavilions has 4 tables to play dominoes. So you want to bring your dominoes and play. You can play other games too, but it's going to have a plaza for monument, and it's going to have the main attraction over there is our office. So for people to come and visit us. And we work from there on Wednesdays and Fridays. And we also run a government academy from there too. So I am expecting everybody, bring your dogs, small dogs, big dogs, and I'm not talking about the husbands, I'm talking about the dogs, okay? Bad joke. But anyhow, we're expecting you. It's gonna be a fun day. The mayor promised to buy lunch for everybody, so please come over. Just kidding, Mayor, just kidding. That's all I have.
I did
promise. Happy Thanksgiving. Happy Thanksgiving.
I did promise that Sammy and I will be there.
Aw, hey.
Thank you, Mayor.
Next.
Commissioner Stewart. Sorry.
Thank you. I've got about 15, 20 minutes worth of stuff to go through real quickly, so if you allow me to, I won't go that. I do have a lot of stuff, but I'll go through very quickly. Let me say thanks to Brent Trotter. I appreciate him being here, and part of the Awareness Day is to also focus on our partnerships and speak on behalf of the Christian Service Center. We've had a wonderful partnership for 18 years there, and we continue to do that. Happy Thanksgiving, and I appreciate that. My birthday will be on Thanksgiving Day this year, and in honor of that, I've declared a national holiday, and you can have all the turkey that you want. DPAC, let me share just one thing I think is important, and that is the headline for the kickoff for DPAC was Norm Lewis, an Edgewater High School graduate. Just wanted to make sure that we got that out to everybody.
Yeah, he was born in Edenville, right?
Yeah, I just want to make sure he's
Okay.
Edgewater, and a member of the Edgewater High School Hall of Fame. I just want y'all to know that. But it was wonderful, and Mayor, thank you again for your leadership and how we make that happen.
Kind of the cool thing is I think there's only been 12 or 13 Phantoms in the history of Broadway, and two graduated from Edgewater High School.
Edgewater High School, that's correct. And one claim, I won't say a personal joke about Davis Gaines, but the longest running Phantom in the West Coast is Davis Gaines, another Edgewater High School graduate. Apparently they can't sing at Boone.
Yeah, Commissioner, we just play football.
They can play football. They can play football. Let's see you talk about the football thing.
A couple of quick things. We had the It Takes Courage event this past weekend. Let me say thank you to Chief Mina. Thank you for your leadership, and thank you for the work that you've done. We had a simulcast between UCF and Valencia State College on the West Campus. It was really, really neat to see the people go out, and I haven't heard any late stories yet, but I can tell you every time something happens like that, lives are saved, and I appreciate your leadership in that. We also have we had a coyote meeting last week. The Florida Fish and Wildlife hosted that. For those who are listening, it will be rebroadcast on Orange TV, and you'll also be able to actually go to orangetv.net, orangetvfl.net, and then from there you'll be able to watch it anytime that you like. And we are continuing to support our citizens as they try to get rid of those coyotes. Let me say also a thank you to Frank Holt. December 2nd will be his last evening with the director, and we appreciate his leadership at the Manello, and he'll be over at the Manello on December 2nd at 7 o'clock. A lot of other things that are happening, but let me kind of jump down to the agenda because I see that Ed is about ready. So we are approving today a special grant, opportunity for Ribbit the Exhibit. So let me just show you briefly over at Lou Gardens. This will start on January 10th. And we'll be hosting Ribbit the Exhibit. It's an array of human-sized sculpted frogs made by J.A. Cobb. They're all being on display throughout the gardens for, I guess, 2 months. Is that about right? 3 months. And the exhibit is still needing the sponsorships for each one of these. They're all available. And then we're in the midst of trying to figure out how to buy 1 or 2 of these to keep them there kind of as a memento forever. So if you don't get a chance, you can help and sponsor these. They are available. Just go to Lou Gardens and you can see the schedule for that. And I think the sponsorship start at about $500 and go up, I think, from there, correct? Good. Thank you. And thank you, Robert, for your leadership. It's going to be a neat way for us to highlight what we're doing. Also at Lou Gardens, a lot of things are going on. So we've already begun decorating Lou House. It'll be open November 24th through January 5th and be decorated by the interior design students from Seminole State College. And also December 5th is our movie night. So it's Christmas Vacation, National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation. More things going on at lougardens.org. What a great way to get out. Other events, let me just kind of touch on this Saturday. I want to mention especially to you, commissioners, this Saturday, November 22nd, we'll be doing the Ivanhoe Village Annual Jingle Eve. The event is going to kick off at 6 o'clock with a lighting of the holiday sign, the Happy Holidays, Happy New Year sign on top of the OUC building. So y'all are invited to come. You should have already gotten an invitation to attend, but please come and join me for the lighting of that at 6 o'clock on Saturday evening. And then on the 29th, don't forget, of course, it's Small Business Saturday, and I think maybe I just may make it, Mayor, like you're right, just call it Small Business Weekend, and we'll just take the whole weekend for it. So please get a chance to shop in our main streets. And then Thursday, the 4th of December, Holiday on the Drive over in College Park from 5 to 9, and we expect a visit from Santa and from Anna and Elsa too. On the agenda, on the A5, the 20 stations coming up for the bike share. What a great, I'm glad to see that moving forward. That's important to all of us. On A9, security cameras for our recreation locations. That is important for us. We want to make sure we continue making those as safe as possible. C5, the Cameo Theater and Facade Grant. Welcome, congratulations. I'm excited about that moving forward. Thank you for your commitment to the Mills 50 group and for being part of making it a great place over there. And then on H1, also the K-8 schools, had a long talk with Byron. We really need, and we continue to make this happen, a K-8 really needs to be treated as a middle school and not treated as an elementary school. So as these 3 or 4 come online in the next couple of years, we need to continue to make sure that we're putting a police officer there that's going to cover the entire needs of the school from K through 8. That's an important thing. At least I think we should continue that focus. And that's all that I have, Mayor.
Thank you, Commissioners. Is there a motion
So
to
move.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Ortiz, second by Commissioner Sheehan. All in favor of the motion indicate so by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed, the motion carries.
Mayor,
Commissioner Ings?
we didn't get Robert Stewart to admit that Boone was the best football team. They won twice in a row.
He's not going to do that. He knows it.
Okay. Boone has won 3 times in a row, the first time in their history. We have won 9 times in a row, 3 different times. So,
Well, let's look at now.
hey, but Florida's getting a new football coach, so I'm okay with that too.
All right, let's move on from football. In fact, let's move on to the CRA. So we will recess the city council meeting without objection. We will call to order the CRA meeting. Thomas, the first item we've already voted on the city council agenda, and that's the amendment number 7 to the DPAC agreement. Is there a motion to approve that as the CRA as well as the city?
Motion approved.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Hill, second by Commissioner Sheehan. All in favor of the motion indicate so by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, so the motion carries. The other is CRA meeting minutes.
So moved.
Second.
Sorry.
Motion by Commissioner Sheehan, second by Commissioner Stewart. All in favor of the motion indicate so by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carries. Thomas, any further business?
None.
Good job, Thomas.
All right. Commissioner Hill?
I wanted to say to your staff, Mayor, what I failed to mention during my report was that the Orlando Monarchs, Ricky Weeks, by gaining a 3-year bid here in the city of Orlando for inner city youth baseball, which will bring almost $7 million worth of impact over the next 3 years. And the mayor's staff, along with my office and Bright House, Brian Craven, and I think Commissioner Ings also was very helpful in securing that bid. And I just want you to know that your staff was instrumental in helping Mr. Weeks get that bid. Also, we had our town hall or community meeting with Orlando Soccer, and I just wanted to personally say thank you to the staff for helping implement that meeting. It was well received there in the Paramore community. That's all.
Thank you, Commissioner. And we will adjourn the CRA meeting. Without objection, we'll reconvene the City Council meeting. We're on hearings ordinances, second reading. Madam Clerk, number 1.
This is ordinance 2014-60, an ordinance of the City of Orlando, Florida, amending the city's adopted growth management plan by updating figure CI-14 to be entitled City of Orlando 2014 through 2019 Capital Improvement Element Capital Improvements Fund Schedule, amending policy 2.2.30 in the Capital Improvements Element, providing for severability and an effective date.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Sheehan, second by Commissioner Ings. Is there anyone from the public that would like to testify on this matter? Discussion among commissioners. Hearing none, all in favor of the motion indicate so by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carries. Ordinances, first read, number 1, Madam Clerk.
This is ordinance 2014-43, an ordinance amending Article 2, Chapter 5 of the Code of the City of Orlando, Florida, entitled Code Enforcement Citations, amending Section 5.19 entitled Classes of Violations and Reduced Civil Penalties, providing for severability and an effective date.
So moved.
Motion by Commissioner Ings, second by Commissioner Stewart. Is there anyone from the public that would like to testify on this matter? Discussion among commissioners. Hearing none, all in favor of the motion indicate so by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, and so the motion carries. Number 2, Madam Clerk.
This is ordinance 2014-58, an ordinance of the City Council of the City of Orlando, Florida, annexing to the corporate limits of the city certain land generally located at the northeast corner of the intersection of Narcoossee Road and Tyson Road, comprised of 1.377 acres more or less, amending the city's adopted growth management plan to designate the property as urban village on the city's official future land use maps, and establishing a new sub-area policy for the same property, provide a maximum development program, required land development regulations, and inclusion in the Southeast Orlando sector plan, providing for amendment of the city's official future land use maps, providing for severability, correction of scrivener's errors, and an effective date.
Move to approve.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Gray, second by Commissioner Ortiz. Is there anyone from the public that would like to testify on this matter? Discussion among commissioners. Hearing none, all in favor of the motion indicate so by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carries. Number 3, Madam Clerk.
This is 2014-61, an ordinance of the City Council of the City of Orlando, Florida, designating certain land generally located at the northeast corner of the intersection of Narcoossee Road and Tyson Road, and comprised of 1.377 acres more or less, as planned development district on the city's official zoning maps, providing special land development regulations of the Tyson's Corner Planned Development District, providing for severability, correction of scrivener's errors, and an effective date.
Move to approve.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Gray, second by Commissioner Ortiz. Is there anyone from the public that would like to testify on this matter? Discussion among commissioners. Hearing none, all in favor of the motion indicate so by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, and so the motion carries. And number 4, Madam Clerk.
This is ordinance 2014-62, an ordinance of the City Council of the City of Orlando, Florida, relating to the Land Development Code, amending section 64.246 relating to high-rise signs to allow certain high-rise signs on buildings in the AC3A-T zoning district to be different in size, color, shape, design, material, and copy if the signs occupy 2 separate sides of the same building, amending section 62.200 Orlando City Code to amend the definition of high-rise sign, providing clarifying grammatical and technical amendments, providing for severability, codification, correction of scrivener's errors, and an effective date.
So moved.
Motion by Commissioner Sheehan, second by Commissioner Stewart. Is there anyone from the public that would like to testify on this matter? Discussion among commissioners. Commissioner Ings.
Thank you, Mayor. I just want to say, Mayor, staff really has to be commended for this because they listened to the business community that came up with this particular situation. So I just want to say thank you to Dean and all of those that were involved.
Thank you, Commissioner. Further discussion. Hearing none, all in favor of the motion indicate so by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed, and so the motion carries. That concludes the official business of the Orlando City Council for today. Thank you for tuning in or joining us here in council chambers.